Hey everybody, it's your English teacher Mohammed. So today I wanted to talk about how we can use idioms in a more natural way. Basically, when I help my students with their IELTS preparation, they like to put like idioms in the middle of their sentences, and it always sounds a bit strange. A lot of people like to use "it's not my cup of tea" or "it's my cup of tea," and it always sounds weird. And then when I thought about it, I realized, they're actually missing something. And if you actually listen to how native speakers talk, you will notice that they like to put something after an idiom, or when they make a metaphor, or when they're saying something not literal, they like to add something like "so to speak," as they say, as it were. And these words, these little phrases, they actually make the idiom or the sort of non-literal speech make more sense or sound more natural, right? So if I share my screen here, um, so I want to now start talking about an example of this, right? So, for example, well, let's say I said parties are are not everybody's cup of tea, are not everybody's. Oh, let me just undo that. Yeah, everybody's. Cup of tea, yeah. Everybody's cup of tea. So, so most people would just sort of, well, when I say most English learners would kind of stop it there, and then it sounds a bit weird. But if you actually added, so to speak, or actually maybe let me change the color there. If you added, so to speak, then this becomes, you know, feels way more natural, right? So you can do this with anything, like any kind of like anything analogy, any analogies or something. Like if you want to say, you know, he's he's a really cool guy, so to speak, right? And you could even say that like cool guy is not an idiom, but we're trying to kind of, we're not saying something literal. He's not literally cool, like he's not, his temperature isn't low, but we're just saying he's a cool guy, so to speak. Um, yeah, so sometimes it's a way of emphasizing, or it's a way of saying that I know what I just said is not literal. Like, parties are not cups of tea. This is not like a literal thing, but it's a metaphor or an analogy. And so, kind of to make that obvious, we like to put like so to speak at the end. And um, just to demonstrate what I'm saying, here's a nice little website called Youglish, and you can actually search this up on search up on what you call that on Youglish phrases, and you can see examples from YouTube, right? So, for example, here I just put in "not my cup of tea," so to speak, or "not everybody's cup of tea." But I don't know. Let's just listen to this. So we got this one.
It's not everybody's cup of tea, so to speak. How
Yeah.
does child's po-
Notice how this is so to speak, and it's like a way of showing that it's not literal or not everybody. Let's see if this would also be, not everything's might exist, but maybe this one. Oh, there it is. There is actually an example. Good. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, it's
It's one
just
of my favorites, yet as we will discuss here, it's not everybody's cup of
right. And then if we just had, so to speak, you can see the kind of examples this is used with, right? So
Better way to ask, like, how'd you get them all to come together and play nice?
So notice here, play nice is like a phrasal verb or something. So it's also very useful if you're using phrasal verbs. You can also use so to speak in this example, right? And then
Ourselves. You become what you behold, so to speak.
so again, this is like kind of not literal speech, and so you become what you behold. So that's why we would like to use so to speak. Just a final example.
And she's exceptional, but I think she's not, so to speak.
Yeah, so here it's sometimes also used as a filler. It's kind of like it's kind of saying, I think that's what I want to say, or something like that. So it has different meanings in different circumstances. But if you're saying something not literal, which usually idioms are not literal, then a really nice way to make it more natural is to use an idiom, right? Let's say there's another one, over the moon. It's quite a common one, right? So let's have a look at that one. Okay, so there's even one example, right? Hmm.
over the moon, so to speak.
Right. So, and then you can actually see the context of it, right? Well, there you go. That's the lesson for today, talking about how you can make idioms sound more natural in your speech by adding, so to speak, at the end, directly afterwards, right? And yeah, this has been the first lesson, I guess, on this new English teaching channel. If you like what you saw and you know want to see more videos like these, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next lesson. Thank you very much. Bye bye.